Aloha and welcome to the Embodied Healing Self podcast with your host, Jen Mons. Each week, join me for soul-inspired, conscious conversations around embodied healing and awakening to your soul's purpose. Thank you for listening in. Aloha, my podcast family. Welcome back again to another episode of the Embodied Healing Self. So this week I am archiving an episode around the energy of self-worth and bringing it back to you again with the invitation for you all to listen and notice what resonates true for you around your knowing in your self-worth. So there's a difference in believing that you are worthy of something, believing that you're worthy of health and love and wealth and joy and peace and freedom and all of the things that many of us love to enjoy in our lives or are seeking, and believing that you're worthy. There's like a deeper inner knowing that is available to you. And the reason I wanted to bring this back this week is because I've been doing this work around health and life and integrative well-being for 12 years with women specifically. And when it comes down to it, at its very core, underneath every layer that we peel back, whatever those limiting beliefs are that show up, those subconscious patterns, those fears, those blocks around not having enough time, not having enough money, not being able to commit to the things that we actually really want to do, the things that we talk about on this episode, eating healthy, movement, meditation, prayer, stillness, connection with other like-minded women. When it comes down to it, most of us are putting other people and other things first because we are so attached to our identities and roles that we've been living in for all of our lives, whether it's a mother, an executive, even a healer, a coach, a spouse, a friend, a daughter, whatever that is. We're so attached to our roles that most of our worth is in our attachment to the roles and the identities that we hold. And I want to invite you to consider that there's something underneath that. There's something deeper in knowing your self-worth, that you are worthy of love and joy and freedom and health and everything that your heart desires without all of those things. And I want to invite you to consider, how does this show up in your life? Oftentimes, I attract women who are successful, overachievers, doing really, really well. And what's underneath that is seeking validation externally. So the difference is allowing yourself to receive health, receive love, receive worthiness, receive wealth, receive everything that your heart desires right now. Receive peace from a place of knowing that you are the fountain of self-worth. You, the worthiness, the energy of worthiness, when it radiates out from you, everything external is just reflecting back to you. I'm sure we all know many, many people who appear to have it all on the outside who are empty on the inside because they're still seeking external validation, whether it's acknowledgement or money or to look a certain way or in a soulmate, whatever that is. I invite you to sit with the possibility that it's time for you to just really own your worthiness as a gift, as who you are, that your dreams matter, you matter. Everything that you desire to create in your life, it matters. And when you give yourself permission to embody your worthiness and create from a place of being fulfilled in your own self-worth, that's where the prosperity begins. The prosperity that I've invited you into for this 2021 year. It's my word of the year. Prosperity is a fountain of worthiness that begins with your inner knowing. And your worthiness by who you are, not what you do. Thanks for coming back and joining in again this week. So today we're going to talk more about the blocks and fears that can show up, specifically relating to our unworthiness. I think that this is the most important topic that we can really dive deep into. And I say this because in all of my years of life, I can really see how this has shown up consistently throughout my life in the way that I chose to be a perfectionist and a high performer and an overachiever, which I recorded a podcast on, the overachiever syndrome. Am I good enough? And then in the self-sabotage cycles of fear, where I would keep myself small or decide not to do something because really underneath the surface, I questioned whether or not I was worthy of having an experience that could be amazing. And so I recorded on this with cycles of self-sabotage with Bonnie Kelly. And then even in my own experience of navigating core wounds around rejection, when I kept doing the self-work and peeling the layers, I began to question my own essential goodness as I was in a situation in my life that was extremely uncomfortable and was really there for me to just choose a different path. As a coach and a mentor, I have also seen this pattern, I would say, in 90% of the women that I work with. Even when I was health coaching, I learned that it was never really about the food. Learning what foods work for us, choosing to eat healthy, finding the resources to be able to eat healthy were just the foundational steps. But the real work was around believing that we could do it. It was really around our worthiness and deciding that our health and well-being are important and they're not negotiable, that they are the foundation for everything. And what I found over the years is that there were so many self-limiting beliefs and fears and blocks that would show up for the ladies that I was working with around why they weren't able to have sustainable, healthy habits. And then as I stepped into life coaching and began to dive deeper into the inner childhood wounds, the one that comes up most often is around our worthiness. So we're going to talk about the frequency of self-worth today. What it is, what it looks like, what it means, what it holds for you, and what it's like to be able to allow yourself to receive in its fullness your self-worth, your worthiness of being here on this planet, in this life, right here, right now, and what you can do with it, and what it means when you don't embrace it, when you don't allow it in, how it can show up in so many different ways in our bodies. It can manifest as illness and disease. I mean, when you think about cancer on a cellular level, it is your cells that become cancerous. So there are so many areas in our life that we could look at where when we don't fully embrace our worthiness, and when I say embrace, I mean embody it. I mean believe it. I mean be it. I don't mean just say it. I don't mean like I'm going to go get a massage because I know I'm worthy, or I'm going to drink this green juice and eat super healthy because I know I'm worthy. I'm talking about the layer underneath on, do you really believe it? What kind of inner dialogue is happening for you? What kind of feeling in your body do you have? Are you allowing yourself to fully receive the nourishment from that green juice? Are you allowing yourself to fully receive the compliments that other people are giving you, the support that people are giving you? So I'm going to invite you to just imagine for a moment your energy, your soul energy, before your birth in this life. So maybe you imagine yourself as a star in the universe, or maybe you just feel the energy of yourself. Imagine yourself in your soul energy, the essence of who you are, all of those qualities that make you you. You might recall some of those curious, excitable, joyful moments in your childhood when you were just so curious about the world and what it could offer you. Think about those qualities that you have right now and come up with at least 3 of them. So imagine your soul energy before coming into this life, before your birth. Maybe you imagine yourself up in the universe, the galaxy, the sky, looking down on the earth and just watching and choosing, knowing what it is that you want to come here to work on. Perhaps maybe just imagine that it's possible that you choose your life setup, your family, your soul family, your siblings, and then you feel this warmth, this sacred space of being held as you feel the energy of your creator, of God, embracing you and just asking you if you're ready. Are you ready to allow yourself to, your soul to expand to that next level? What is it that your soul wants in this next life to work on and to expand? Now, I'm going to share with you that what I know I'm here to do is to surrender to my truth, surrender to the essence of who I am. And that requires knowing my worthiness just in the place of surrendering to who I am in my being. And so in that moment, you decide that you're ready because you know that you're worthy. You know that you can do it. You're going to come back into this life on this planet and choose your experience. But in that moment that your soul decided to come back to this earth, you knew you were worthy. And just by the very fact that you were ever created by your creator, by God, by this universal source of energy, whatever you want to call it, means that you are worthy. So I want you to think about what were the things in that moment. How did it feel? I want you to think about how did it feel in that moment to know that you were worthy enough to come back? And now imagine that you're standing on the edge of the earth at the end of your life. And you're watching the movie, the stories of your life. And you just see these pictures coming up of all the events that have changed your life. The moment you were born, the moment your children were born, the moment you got married, the moment you lost a loved one, those pivotal moments that changed your life. Or maybe there were moments that you didn't even realize were super pivotal, but they happened. The moment you decided to receive God into your life, the moment you decided to receive love. And maybe there are other moments that you will see. Maybe you will see those moments that were painful. But if you're watching the movie at the end of your life, how will you feel about your life story? Because I don't want you to be in that space thinking about what you would have done differently. I want you to imagine that as you're watching the story of your life, that you feel inner peace and happiness for all of the experiences in your life. And I want to invite you to consider that now is the time to choose the course of your life and to stay that course, to allow yourself to be guided, to allow yourself to receive. Receiving is so big. Just receiving the unconditional love that you were created with and the many ways that it shows up in your life. The unconditional love that you were created with shows up when you're a baby, your birth experience, from your parents. They love you the best way that they know how to. But there is no greater purpose or unconditional love than the one that you allow yourself to be within you. You are the only one that walks this entire journey of life by your side. You are the only one that has been with yourself from the moment of your birth until the moment that you leave and transition. So, what better person is there to recognize? What better person is there to invest in, to love, to nourish, to get to know, to understand? What I see happening in the world today is that we hide behind our identities. It's so easy and safe to do that. We hide behind the things that we do. We put our self-worth and our value in the degrees that we have. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer. I did it. I graduated from a federal service academy. I had 2 degrees. One of them was engineering. I felt unstoppable until my body showed me otherwise, and I had a health crisis. But we always do this. We put our worth in our identities, even as a mother, even as parents. And I do it too. Still, I have to check myself. Like, I'm so proud of my children. They're amazing. And they really aren't mine. They're children of God that I have been gifted to hold space for their journey. They are who they are. They have an individual soul that came here for a purpose. And they chose me as their mother so that I could guide them into what they were stepping into. But their future, everything that they decide to do, is not in my control. I can guide them, but they are their own individual, unique beings of life. We hide behind our jobs. We hide behind our credibility. We hide behind our intelligence. We hide behind our pain. We hide behind our suffering. We hide behind our losses. How many times in your life have you heard the excuses in your head of why you can't do something that you know you want to do? I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I'm too busy. That is just hiding behind the busyness of life. In the last episode, I specifically invited you to consider that if you find yourself saying the words, I'm too busy, it's just a sign that you are out of alignment. And I would just encourage you to start by just shifting your words, because I think there's so much power in words. And if you feel overcommitted, a way that you can respond to somebody when you know it's out of alignment is, I am committed during that time. Rather than saying, I don't have the time, because that's not really true. The truth is that we all have the same amount of time, but that you're choosing differently. And I just really invite you to be clear with your words and notice the words you're saying. What I notice, first of all, is that we're not clear with our words. When we decide not to receive help from somebody, whether it's to go to a therapist, or maybe it's a couples therapist, maybe it's a dietitian to lose weight, maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a personal trainer. When we say that we don't have the time, what we really mean is that it's not a priority for me right now. And then I invite you to be really clear with your words and say that and be truthful that it's not a priority for you this time. And then ask yourself why it's not a priority at this time. Maybe you don't know that you're worthy of receiving that support. And the takeaway that I really want you to have from today's message is that the only sacred work that you are here to do in this life is to fully embrace who you are and to love that person, no matter how he or she looks, and to trust all of the decisions and the experiences and the people in your life that have been in your life that have brought you to this moment right here was all for your highest intention. and to have gratitude for all of the people and the experiences, even the difficult ones. I have witnessed so many people completely transform their lives. Even when I worked corporate, I can remember managing an amazing young man who was born into a family of gangs in California and was just such an incredible person. And he completely changed his life. And he didn't have a college degree, but he became a leader in the corporate world. I have witnessed people who have been sexually abused as children, who've completely had all of their innocence taken from them, who had every reason not to feel safe or not to trust others, but it didn't matter because they knew they were worthy of something better. So I invite you to consider right now in this moment, what are you worthy of? What are you not giving yourself in your life right now that you are worthy of? What are you not allowing yourself to receive? And then notice the conversation that comes up. Is it connection from your partner? Is it the giving of support or those present moments with your children? All of the gifts in life that we can find in all of these little sacred spaces. Is it seeking the support of somebody outside of your family, a friend, a coach, a mentor, a doctor, a therapist, a personal trainer, a yoga teacher, a meditation teacher? Is there something in your heart right now that is calling you to change the way that you're showing up and the belief that you have about yourself, specifically around your worthiness? So now let's talk about the frequency of self-worth and what that looks like on an energetic scale and what it does for you. So imagine that there's this space in front of you full of white light, and that you feel the essence of unconditional love. And the energy of this space, this light, I want you to just take a moment to notice, how does it feel? The energy of God, of the universe, of your higher self, of unconditional love, what does that feel like for you? And what would it be like to fully step into that space? The energy of light and unconditional love, for you to take that step forward and fully receive everything that is being held for you, just waiting for you to step into, all of your hopes, your dreams, all of the emotions that you want to experience in life: joy, abundance, health, love, confidence. What are those things that as you stood at the edge of the earth and you watched the story of your life go by and you were wishing that you had done differently, those things that you desire in this moment that you are worthy of, what are those? The energy of all of that is just waiting for you with open arms for you to just step forward and receive. What would it take for you to take that step forward into the energy of that light, that unconditional love, to fully receive yourself in wholeness? The wholeness of all of your experiences, including the trauma, the hurt, but also including the love, the abundance, the safety, the hope. What would it look like for you? How would it feel? Who's going to be there witnessing you, supporting you? I want you to get really clear on that, because those people are anchors in this life experience. Our physical body, our loved ones that we have our experience with, they are our anchors that help us to remember to be witnessed in our experience. But what would it be like for you to step into that frequency of unconditional love? So if you just imagine it as energy and you're just taking that step up into what's possible in the next vibration of your life. And as I was telling my wonderful, beautiful 13-year-old the other day, I just reminded her that what we believe about ourselves is the way that we give others permission to treat us. When we believe that we are worthy, then other people are going to treat us like we're worthy. When we believe that we are lovable, other people will find us lovable. Because our inner world, our inner work creates our outer world. You might remember me recording that with Karen Haysbert back in May. Check out that episode. It was wonderful. But this is the truth. Because our perception is our reality. So whatever we believe about ourselves are the experiences that we attract. The feelings, thoughts, and emotions that we have about ourselves are the way that we give permission to others to see us in the world. So if you're sitting here listening, still questioning whether or not you're worthy enough, and you haven't been convinced just by the very fact that you are here, that someone loved you enough to create you, then I invite you to get really clear on where this belief came from. Do the self-inner work to be in that space. Ask yourself if it's even your belief. Sometimes we carry these beliefs from generations and generations of beliefs that we're born into. So is this belief yours? Is it true? Do you really believe it, or are you just playing the part of somebody who doesn't think they're worthy because maybe you're actually really afraid to step into that space of how amazing you are, because maybe you're afraid you'll be resented. Maybe you're afraid people won't fully understand or see you. So just get really clear on the energy around that. Is it yours? Is it true? Why do you believe this? When did this happen? And then just ask God and Spirit just to help you heal it. Show me what to do so that I can heal this. And maybe you'll see a teacher come forward. Maybe you'll see your partner's face, your husband, your wife. Maybe you'll just see the beach. Maybe you just know that you go to the beach, and then when you get to the beach, another vision comes through for you. I had that experience. But most of the time we hide behind being too busy to even take the time to ask ourselves what we believe and what we need. And that frequency of knowing our self-worth is when we get into the frequency of unconditional love. And if you were to imagine the scale of frequencies energetically, just as if you were going to imagine, for my visual learners here, like those old school thermometers, and you've got the highest temperature and the lowest. Unconditional love is the highest. Fear is the lowest. And our self-worth resonates with that unconditional love, because once we know and we believe and we feel that we are truly worthy, we are in that space of unconditional love, because that is what we're receiving. We are receiving that frequency, that vibration of unconditional love. And guess what? When we are in that space, we get to relax. We get to trust and know that everything we do and everything that we say and everything that comes our way is just as it's supposed to be. We get to surrender into the truth of who we are. And we know that we are worthy to receive. And we also know that if something comes our way and it's a contraction, as I like to say, it's a challenging experience, we know that we are worthy enough and strong enough to overcome it, to accept it and receive it, and to transmute it, to learn from it, to grow from it. Hello, friends, and thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of this community. I know there are many other podcasts that you could be tuning into, and I am deeply honored that you chose to listen in and be present with me today. I love and cherish and appreciate you, and I want to invite you to join our tribe and Facebook group under jenmons.com jen.com/connect. I would also love to gift you your guide to discovering and overcoming the self-limiting beliefs standing in the way of you living in optimal health, more energy, fulfillment, and self-confidence to create an embodied, healthy, whole you. You can find this at jenmons.com/tribe. I also have one small request to help spread the love. In order for this podcast to show up in the feed of social media platforms of other like-minded people, we need reviews. So please head on over to jenmons.com/podcast to leave a review. You will also find other inspiring episodes on that page. So I personally read these reviews weekly and would love to give you a shout out and share your kind words with our listeners. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as Jen Mons or The Holistic Coach with the W Holistic and Jen Mons, JenMons.com. Thank you so much and have an amazing day. Aloha.